Welcome to the GFCC Hour of Blessing. This program is produced by the Greater Framingham Community Church, located at 44 Franklin Street in Framingham, Massachusetts. Please join us in our service today as we worship the Lord, read His holy word, sing of His goodness for all that He has done, and praise His name through the artistry of liturgical dance. Let's hear a word from the Lord as the doors of the church are now open.
Because, Lord, you're here. Because, Lord, you empowered us that we might be here. And your word is always alive. Make it happen, Lord, in our spirits and our minds. Because we come trusting and we come believing this morning. In Jesus' name we pray. Choirs, children's choir. Bless you this morning. Continuing this morning in our theme for this year of miracles, blessings, breakthroughs, and deliverances. Let me share that as there are still those, I'm sure, in the house who are looking for a miracle, that sure as God is on the throne, your miracle will come. And yet I also know that in the house up here this day, there are those who have experienced their miracle. Indeed, they have experienced the move of God in their situation. And God has done something that has disrupted nature and done it differently. But this morning I would share with you that there is a word from God for everybody. Those who have received the miracle and those that are still expecting God to do one. This morning we want to dip into the middle of the story. It is the Gospel of John, if you would turn with me, and to the 9th chapter. The 9th chapter of the Gospel of John. And we want to pick up after the miracle has happened. The Gospel of John in the 9th chapter and the 24th verse. We have reading for us. A second time they summoned the man who had been blind. Give glory to God by telling the truth, they said. We know this man is a sinner. He replied, whether he is a sinner or not, I don't know. One thing I do know. Somebody say, one thing I know. I was blind, but now I see. Then they asked him, what did he do to you, and how did he open your eyes? And he answered, I told you already, and you did not listen. Why do you want to hear it again? By some curiosity, do you want to become his disciple too? Then they hurled insults at him and said, you are this fellow's disciple. We are disciples of Moses. We know that God spoke to Moses, but as for this fellow, we don't even know where he comes from. The man answered, now, that's remarkable. That's funny. You don't know where he comes from, yet he opened my eyes. Now, we know that God does not listen to sinners. He listens to the godly people who does his will. And nobody has ever heard or opened the eyes of a man born blind. If this man were not from God, he could do nothing. To this, they replied, you were steeped in sin at birth. How dare you lecture us? And they threw him out. Somebody said they threw him out. This morning, for a moment, I want to preach from the theme, trouble after a miracle. Trouble after a miracle. There is a false assumption within Christendom that permeates our Christian journey, and it goes something like this. That when you are blessed by God, everybody rejoices with you. But the truth be told this morning, that if you let the music of your blessing play, not everybody will have happy feet. Not even in the church. You see, we can fail to adhere to the words of Christ that says you ought to rejoice with those who rejoice. There's trouble after the miracle. Our text says there in John 9 and 24 and 25, a second time they summoned the man who had been blind and said, tell the truth, give God the glory by telling the truth. We know this man is a sinner. And the man replied, whether or not he is a sinner, I don't know, but one thing I do know, I was blind and now I see. This text, in essence, brings into bold view for all of us the reality of believing and seeing. Some people are blind, and yet they can see. Postulate that for a moment. Then there are others who can see, and yet they're blind. Somebody say, I know somebody like that. And I want to deposit in your soul this morning that seeing has to do with believing. And if you do not believe, then you do not see. Let me say that again. That seeing has to do with believing. And if you do not believe, then you do not see. Now, I know somebody would want to suggest, say, well, Reverend Lloyd, the first thing is that you've got to see first before you can believe. But I want to argue that we believe first and then we see. We see what we want to believe. Trouble after a miracle. We will only see what we already believe. And when that happens, it leaves us being narrow-minded, rigid, inflexible, and unyielding people. Can I tell it this morning? If what we believe cannot change, then what we see cannot change either. Therefore, what the text clearly describes is a whole lot of blind folk. Blind folk. In fact, the human condition, that is our condition, that more often we are blind. More often we are blind. We are a blind beggar. And it's not because we do not see, but it's because of the very difficult it is to change what we believe. We get locked into it, and somehow I just can't believe differently. Jesus in our text intervenes and interweaves himself into the story of a blind beggar. He puts mud on the man's eyes. The man goes and washes in the pool, and then he can see. And one would think, given all that has happened, that there would be a celebration and a victory standing out because of it. But that is not the point. What happens is that's when the trouble starts. It's after the man got his sight back. It's after the mud's been on it. It's after that he washed in the pool. It's after he came walking back and all the trouble came his way. It's after your miracle, after your breakthrough, after your deliverance, that the potential of trouble comes your way. First, it's the neighbors. They are so surprised that this man can see that they began to debate whether or not he really is the same man. They ask him, well, you see, this can't be the same beggar. This ain't the same beggar that was sitting there for all these years blind. Some said, oh, yes, he is. I know that one. I see him. Others said, no, it can't be the one. They couldn't agree. And then somebody finally pops up and says, I think he just looks like the man that was blind. And the man, for the very first time seeing, sees his way back home, and he insists, I am the man. But they continue to press him. You know, some folks just won't get on board with your blessing. All right. They press him. They say, well, how in the world are your eyes open? Some fat folk, no matter what's going on, no matter what change God has done in your life, no matter what blessing has come your way, no matter what miracle God performs in your life, some folk will not believe. They will not get on board, they will not sing your praises, and they most certainly won't sing God's praises. Some folk will not get it. So they ask for details of the man. They say, who healed you? And tell us what happened. And Brother Man replies, there was a man, they called him Jesus. He made some mud by spitting on the ground, and he put the mud on my eyes. And after that, he says, now I want you to go and wash your face in the pool of Siloam. So I went and I washed my face, and that's when it happened. I could see. So they said, well, where is this here man? And the blind beggar, who didn't know where Jesus went, said, I don't know where he is. Church, when God does something in your life, you've got to be ready to give credit where credit is due. All right, now. You've got to be willing and ready to stand up and bless the name of the Lord. If the Lord has done something for you, you ought to say something. The Bible says, let the redeemed of the Lord say something. You got to know how to rejoice and give credit where credit ought to be done. Because trouble sometimes comes after your miracle. sometimes comes after your breakthrough and your deliverance. But your testimony has got to always be up to date. Somebody say up to date. Say, neighbor, is your testimony up to date? You ought to give praise where praise is due. Jesus is in the light of the world, and Jesus comes in and destroys and shatters the darkness of this man's life. Because that's what light does. It shatters the darkness. And the only requirement for this here miracle was for the blind man that he had enough faith to go and wash his face. Jesus spit in the ground. He made mud, put the mud on the man's eyes, and told him to go to the pool and wash it off. Hear me this morning. The miracle was not in the spit. The miracle was not in the mud. The miracle was not in the water. The miracle wasn't in the pool. The miracle was when him who gave it to man and it said, go wash your face and it will happen. That's where the miracle is. And the only requirement was to have faith. And this man, with the only thing that he had, which was his faith, went in obedience and showed up to the pool of water. Now, the text does not tell us how long he had to walk. And this morning, I don't know how long you have to walk and wait for your miracle to come. I don't know in the text how long he walked. I don't know how long you've been waiting for God to do something in your life. But I'm going to tell you about myself. I'm willing to walk with blood in my eyes. I'm willing to walk, and if I have to put my hand against the wall to find my way, that's what I'm going to do. I'm willing to walk, and if I have to tackle the cane and to get me from here to there, I'm going to do that. Nelson Mandela said, it's a long walk to freedom. It's not an easy walk to freedom. He says that many people will have to go through the shadow of death again, and again. Don't know how long you will have to wait for your miracle, your breakthrough, or your deliverance in your life. But you must be prepared to walk the walk of faith this morning. Yes, be prepared to walk as long as you have to walk, but do it by faith. Because every step you take gets you closer to what your miracle is. Every step you take gets you closer to what God has for you in your life. This man, this blind man, the man went, the man washed, and the man came back seeing. But that wasn't enough. It wasn't enough because his neighbors still did not believe. So they take the man to the Pharisees, to the religious leaders. Says, hey, you got to figure this out because we don't believe the man. Now, the first problem that the religious leaders had with what happened was that Jesus had healed the man on the wrong day. All right. Can I tell you? Go ahead. He healed him on the Sabbath. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that line right there tells you, okay, they're already blind. They're already blind because they only believe what they want to believe. They only believe what they've understood to believe, and they can't even believe a miracle. They make a big deal about the day of the miracle and don't even believe the miracle itself. Help me, somebody. They interrogate the man. This morning, how many understand that God can make mud and do miracles on the Sabbath? How many understand God knows how to make mud and do miracles on Sunday morning? In this place, we are gathered in this place. I'm expecting, I'm trusting, I'm believing in this place. He tells them it was on the Sabbath that Jesus took the mud, smoothed it over my eyes, and when it was washed away, I could see. there's some haters in the house. All right. I think I got some haters up in this text. Somebody should have said, praise the Lord for the healing. Praise the Lord, somebody got a blessing. Praise the Lord, somebody got a breakthrough. But instead they said, this man Jesus is not from God, being that he does not honor the Sabbath. Still others says, now logic dictates, says since he does not keep the Sabbath, then it means he must be a sinner. Because a sinner doesn't keep the Sabbath. Still others says, but how can he do a miracle if he's not from God? Then the text says that the house was divided. The logic was infruitable, but the conclusion was wrong. The man could see, and Jesus healed him.
That's right.
Some held on to their logic. Still others acknowledged the fact. And the Pharisees questioned the man a second time. So what do you have to say about this here man? This man, that now your eyes are open. What do you have to say about it? Who do you think he is? The man says, well, I think he's a prophet. Lord knows he opened my eyes. The leaders still do not believe this man. Now, he takes a different track. They say, well, you know what? Maybe you were never born blind in the first place. They're not really ready to give Jesus any credit for anything.
That's right, that's right.
So they send for the man's parents. Uh-oh. You know how it is. They don't believe you. They say, where your parents at?
Right.
They know how to tell the truth. Where your parents? They bring the parents in and say, now, is this your son? Is he the one you said was born blind? Now, how can you explain the fact that he can see now? Somebody must not be telling the truth up in here. That's what we got you standing up in here. And the parents verified, yep, that's our son. They know a lot about it. And two, yep, he showed up was born blind. Yep, he was born blind. He's our son. He was born blind. But the fact that he can see now, I can't explain. They said, we don't know. We can only testify about what we do know.
That's right.
And what we do know is the last time we checked, he was our son.
That's right.
And when he was born, he was blind. But now, he can see. And quite frankly, since we can't testify to what we didn't know, guess what? He's old enough to answer for himself. Ask him. Ask him for yourself. Now they said that because they knew full well if they acknowledged that Jesus was the one, he was the Christ, and he healed them, they were going to throw them out of the church. So they weren't planning to get thrown out of church. Now this morning, church, I will tell you and I understand that your blessing will make room for you. I understand that. But I also understand that sometimes those closest to you will put a distance between themselves and you over your blessing. Some folks just don't want to be bothered, don't want to get up close, don't want to go near it. But your miracle will make room for you.
Amen.
So for the third time, the leaders come to the man. This time they say, now tell the truth and shame the devil. Give God some glory up in here. Why don't you agree with us? Agree that this man is a sinner. And sinners don't do miracles. Once again, the leaders demonstrate the fact that they are blind. You only see what you want to see. You only believe what you want to believe. So the man responds to them. Now, whether he's a sinner or not, I don't know. I feel like a testimony coming up in here. But let me tell you what I do know. Now you would think, church, that ought to settle the matter. I mean, how many times you got to say the same thing? You think he's saying, I mean, basically, I've shown you the evidence. I presented the facts. But it still wasn't good enough. So they pressed the man again. What did he do to you? How did he open your eyes? How many up in here know that God can change your life, perform a miracle in your situation, give you a breakthrough, whatever you're going through, deliver you from whatever situation you're in, and there will always be somebody in the house that won't believe. Trouble that comes after the miracle. Someone will wag their finger in your face and deny the move of God on your life, even though you're standing right there. Truth be told, God working a miracle in your life is not dependent on everybody else agreeing on it. Somebody ought to say, thank the Lord. How many know that your breakthrough and your deliverance is not dependent on whether or not your family agrees to it? Whether or not your neighbors are on the same page? Whether or not your enemies are on one accord? Or whether or not your haters believe it or not? The man now, in our text, gets a little indignant. Somebody say a little indignant. He could have got a whole lot indignant, but he only got a little indignant. So he turns and he says, now, I already told you what happened, but you didn't listen. Why do you want me to tell you it again? The story ain't changing. Because the miracle ain't changing. And then he almost twists just a little. He says, oh, I know why you got all these questions. I know why you're asking all these questions. You want to know how I got my miracle so you can figure out how you get your miracle. You want to figure out how I became a disciple here so you can figure out how you can become a disciple here.
Praise God.
Oh, I know what's going on, he says. You want to be like Nicodemus and come to see Jesus at the cover of darkness and get your miracle and then sneak on back home. You almost can hear the man say to the Pharisees, are you looking for a miracle? Is that what you're asking me about? And with that, the religious leaders are extremely upset. They hurl insults at the man. He says, you're one of his disciples. That's what you are. And we are not his disciples. We are a disciple of Moses. As for Jesus, we don't know where in the world he came from. We know God spoke through Moses. But as for this man named Jesus, we don't know nothing about him. And almost a little hush. So hear me this morning, church. When you choose to be blind, when you choose not to believe, it leaves you in a state of ignorance. How many people you talk to about Jesus Christ? Say, Jesus changed my life. There's a difference in my life. The way I make it every day is because the Lord is in my life. How many folk you share in your family? How many folk you share in your job, in the community, and say, this is who I worship, this is who I serve, and after you've been, they still look at you and walk away with their head down. But now, old boy doesn't let it up. Y'all done robbed him up. He said, he turns the table on him now. He says, now, that's strange. He healed me. And you say you don't know anything about it. Where you been? You say you don't know where he comes from. Even though he opened up my eyes. Then he turns to the religious leaders. He says, let me put a theological spin on this for you. One, we know God does not run around doing miracles through sinners. Number two, that God only does miracles through his chosen servants who are obedient to his will. Amen. Number 3, and nobody has ever heard of a man born blind and then having his eyes opened up. And then number 4, and yet he opened my eyes. Did he not? I can see you. He says, my logic and my facts tell me 1 plus 1 equal 2. With that, they're extremely upset. How dare you lecture us? Who in the world do you think you are? How dare you confront us? How dare you turn the tables on us? You don't understand who you're talking to. I'm the religious leader around here. And with that, the text says they threw him out of the house. Trouble after a miracle. Anybody ever got thrown out because you believe in Jesus? Because you ain't going to deny the miracle of God doing something in your life? See, church, there is a whole lot of blindness in this text. The man was born blind, but the Pharisees are blind as well. There's only one that comes out of this text with their eyesight corrected, and it's the blind man. The blindness of the man born blind represents all of us in our human condition. We are born blind. Yes, we enter into this world, and yes, we are indoctrinated into belief systems and systems of thought around us. Cultural, religious, political, economic, and social systems. These systems, they shape what we see, how we see it, and when we see it. But that's when Jesus puts mud over our eyes and tells us to go wash in a pool. That's when Jesus interjects into our storyline. The blindness of the Pharisees in our text is a human blindness. Is based on limiting beliefs, inaccurate assumptions, and false interpretations. I mean, they walked around, knew full well, they knew they were right. They did not believe, so they could not see. They did not believe because they could not see. They believed Jesus healed on the wrong day. That was a limiting belief. Can I tell you? Their belief in the prohibition of healing on the Sabbath limited their ability to see anything about what God was doing. That's right. And therefore they gave a narrow interpretation of the law. They could not see the healing even though it was staring them in the face. Then they moved on to an inaccurate assumption. That's right. Drive me crazy, folk, with their assumptions. They say, Jesus must be a sinner if he heals on the wrong day. They say, he's a sinner. Then they make a false interpretation. They say, given all that, he can't be from God. And even when they're confronted with the testimony of a blind man, even when they're confronted with the eyewitness testimony, even when they're confronted with the evidence standing right there in front of their face, because of what they believed, they could not see. Because of what they held on to wherever they got it from, it prevented them from seeing what was really in front of them. Let me see if I can't wrap this up for you and tell you something. At the deepest level, this text is about a belief system. Okay. Whether you can handle God's revelation in your life. Do we believe that God is still doing miracles, doing breakthroughs, and doing deliverances? Or are we still stuck someplace thinking God did it yesterday, God did it for somebody else, God did it in my life in the past, but when it comes to a revelation in my life right now, God can't do it. Do you believe that God can work in your life? Yes. Do you believe to God doing a miracle right now in our life. In other words, can you change what you already believe? Can you? Can you change what you believe so he can change what you see? Church, is because we're blind to sin. We're blind to the work of Christ around us. We're blind to the miracles of God in our life.
That's right.
We're blind to what God is doing in our life. All we see is what we believe we see. And then God comes into our lives, put mud on our eyes, and tells us to go wash in a pool someplace. And when we wash in the pool, we begin to see. Trouble after a miracle. But this morning, as I close, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever stood flat-footed before the Lord and told God that you were wrong?
That's right.
I mean, stood before God and said, Lord, with all the books I read, all the movies I've seen, all the theological concepts I put together, all this research I've done, all I understand from Mother Wick, what I understand from experience, Lord, guess what? I stand before you and I declare unto you, I was wrong.
That's right. That's right.
I'm wrong. I heard God say, I'm going to do a new thing.
Hallelujah.
I'm going to do a miracle in your life. Have you owned up to the fact that what you believe would never allow you to see? Have you told God that you've been wrong at the very deepest level of your belief system? I heard Jesus say, you have not because you ask not. You see not because you believe not. It's hard, I tell you, church, to change what we already believe. It's hard to change. And a big reason why it's hard to change is because it's based on fear. Fear. My blindness is really fear. I'm afraid of being different from anybody else. I'm afraid to be an eagle because everybody else is a chicken. I'm afraid. I'm afraid that if I do be different, I'm afraid if I do grasp God at a different level, then somehow all the stuff that I based everything on will become new. I'm afraid that if I somehow change up and see God does something different in my life, everything I based it on, I don't know who I will become then. It's fear. It's fear. It's a voice that lingers in there and says, I'm inadequate. I'm not smart enough. I'm so dysfunctional, I'll never get fixed. It's based on fear. And therefore I cling to what I've already believed. And consequently, I'm not ready for a change. Because I'm afraid of what will come. This morning I stopped by to tell somebody that once you face your fear, once you name it, once you own it, then you can confront it. Then you can overcome it. And the joy comes when you tell Jesus, I've been wrong. I've been wrong. I've been wrong about what I believe. And that's when the mud comes off my eyes. That's when it happens. That's when I wake up while I'm still sleeping. That's when I come to my senses. That's when I understand that it was by grace that brought me to some dry places. By grace that brought me to some
Thank you for worshiping with the Greater Framingham Community Church, Our Blessing. We come to you trusting that something said or experienced has been a blessing to you and your family. The Greater Framingham Community Church welcomes you to join us each Sunday morning at 10 o'clock a.m. for worship services. Our church is located at 44 Franklin Street in downtown Framingham, Massachusetts. We are handicap accessible and have an early childhood ministry available for those with young children. We have a host of ministries dedicated to you and your family. The Greater Framingham Community Church offers weekly prayer meetings and Bible studies. There's also men's and women's Christian fellowship, teen worship, just to name a few. For a complete listing of our services, please visit us at our website at www.gfccnet.org or contact the church at 508-626-2118. We open our church doors to the entire community, for our doors never close. We trust that you have enjoyed our worship service and know that God is good, and the refrain is all the time. May God bless you and your family this week until we meet again.